What's up? What's up? What's up? This is another episode of Mrradillo's World. I am dolo. I'm riding solo this episode. No guest. I'm working on a couple guests, so hopefully we'll get another one in here soon. But I wanted to talk about a couple issues. Not issues per se, stories, news stories per se. For example, the biggest one that is rocking and is scandalous is the USAID story. Massive taxpayer waste, massive fraud. It's kind of just uncovering the ugly underbelly of the federal government. So we're going to get into that today. I talked about some Raiders stuff, and then just kind of just chit chat here. I was planning on talking about outrage, but I think I'm going to save that for another video. So that'll be probably the next one we're going to talk about. But anyways, let us dive right in. Okay. So USAID literally was a program, and let me get some actual facts here, because I don't want to say the wrong thing, right? I don't want to the actual definition of USAID. Sorry, here, I'm pulling it up right here. So the USAID stands for the United States Agency for International Development. It is an independent agency of the U.S. federal government, primary responsibility for administrating civilian, foreign aid, and development assistance. Here are some key points. So that's the overall goal. But what we found was happening as Elon and his Doge team were going through, there was a lot of basically misappropriation of funds, taxpayer funds. And this is something that I am actually really excited about for this regime, because my whole premise, what I've said this for years, is line by line audit. Go through the entire federal government, slash it of things that are just necessity, right? We don't need certain things as far as from a government standpoint. If private organizations want to create those programs and help with those things, sure, that I fully support the people's will to create their own type of organizations like that. For example, this is my biggest stance. I believe the church should be doing a lot more to help the needy than they are doing. The problem with the American church is we've relied so much on the government to take over that job. It's something that we don't even think about, right? But really, biblically, we should be the ones to help those specific poor people, those that are seeking Christ. We should be the ones helping them, not the government, right? Anyways, that's just a philosophical framework that I'm coming at it from a biblical standpoint. We should be helping as the church those that are in need. We should have our own basically network of people needing assistance or help and things of that nature. And that doesn't mean that we should eliminate work, right? Because you need to work, right? But we should have programs to help people when they are down. And this is speaking from the church, not the federal government. And I think that's the fundamental difference between a left and a right person. The left, and actually rightfully so, the government's been the one doing it for so long because the church has been stagnant in that area. So they kind of feel, because almost it's not, in a sense, they wouldn't say this, but the government is their church, right? And so they feel like it is the government's job to protect its citizens, which I fundamentally do understand. But we're both in agreement that there should be some type of assistance for those who truly need it. The problem here, and here's the problem, is not everyone needs it. There are a lot of people that are abusing the system, whether it is, no matter what the race is, there's all races that are abusing the system, abusing the payments. And we're going to go run through some of these payments, but I am like ecstatic because not only are we going line by line audit in some of these programs where this is just the tip of the iceberg. This USAID program is just one program. They're talking about going line by line into the Pentagon, the Treasury, the Department of Education, and honestly, we should go through the defense budget. And this isn't me trying to be liberal here. We need strong defense, but let's really find out what's going on and what is happening in that defense budget. Like how many kickbacks are there happening? Just like with the pharmaceutical companies. Like there has been mass corruption in the government. And it was always like you were labeled a conspiracy theory, but we all knew that the government was inefficient, it was bloated, and it wasn't operating efficiently. We all knew that. At least I did. That was my stance. I thought everyone in politics was corrupt because they'd go in there with not a lot of money and they'd leave rich, right? So in my standpoint, that was like, these guys are all corrupt. Didn't matter if they were Republican or Democrat. They are all corrupt. They are all in it for themselves. They say one thing and then do another, right? And this is the first time in my life, and it's crazy because I've been on the opposition of Trump, as if you follow my journey, you know that. This is the first time a president's actually doing what he said he'd do, right? And it's kind of amazing. It is kind of amazing. But let's read some of these examples of wasteful or misaligned spending. Okay, so we had $43 million on gas stations in Afghanistan that reportedly had 0 customers. 43 million. So like this is the problem. It's not that the government shouldn't be helping other countries, right? Philosophically, there's probably some things that we should be doing for government security's sake, right? But this is a gas station that had 0 customers, meaning there probably was no gas station. Or even if they did donate $43 million to a gas station, that gas station serviced not one single person. So that means, in my eyes, there's something shady going on there. Over $2 million for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala. Yeah, like, and this isn't to be disrespectful, but why is the government paying for that? Right? If you want to create a private organization where you're helping that, by all means, that's the American way. You do that. But we have taxpayer money that is taking from people, and we are paying for that. Nuts. And this isn't to say that like all government spending is going to be waste, right? There's going to be some philosophical disagreements. Like for example, like financial federal aid, there is something beneficial to that in educating the populace, right? Because a lot of people couldn't afford college. But also, there is waste on that end, right? And probably on the end of the organizations that are taking that funding, right? Everything's kind of got bloated with bureaucratic resources, right? That is the issue here. Okay, 1.5 million to promote diverse equity and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces in the business communities. Well, I don't know if that worked in Serbia. I don't know. 70,000 for production of DEI musical in Ireland. I'm sure it's a fabulous musical. I'm sure. 47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia. Yo. 32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. Wow. 50 million for condoms in Gaza. Although there was later clarified that a part of broader medical service funding. So there could be some speculation on that 50 million for specifically condoms wasn't the case. 6 million for Kenyan soap opera to promote HIV/AIDS awareness to tackle social issues. Like all these in themselves, like you do what you want as a private organization, right? But how are we wasting taxpayer money? Like, and we can't even fix a freaking road, right? Or like the national government in itself, the IRS hired 80,000 agents to come and get us if we didn't pay our taxes. Then they started going to try to tax our Venmo payments and Cash App payments because they want that much reach in our government, right? And no wonder why. Because they're wasting a lot of this money and funneling it through back channels to themselves. Nuts. This is the scandal of scandals. But wait until we're just a month in, right? I'm curious what else is going to be popping up here. Let's keep reading. $27 million to Moroccan pottery classes to teach artisans design skills and market their products. Good. Yeah. That's awesome. Good for them. Good for Morocco. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, I'd take $20 million and I'll learn how to do pottery. Hook it up. Hook it up, federal government. Hook it up. We got $230 million on a pier in Gaza, which lasted only 20 days. Like, I'm not sure what that means. I'm thinking probably specifically that they built the pier and that it got destroyed. So we have a $230 million of just waste. Just waste. You probably shouldn't build infrastructure in unstable environments. I mean, just a thought. Just a thought. 495,000 on political ads on MSNBC. Political ads. Wow. Taxpayer money for political ads. That's crazy. 24 million for oversized internet routers for tiny rural libraries. Okay. They're rural libraries and they have oversized internet routers. Did that money all go to that rural library? Did it? Did it? Nah, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. 300 million in Afghan farm aid, which reportedly ended up in Pakistan's markets. Why are we subsidizing farms in Afghanistan? 300 million in Afghan farm aid, which reportedly ended up in Pakistan markets. We're subsidizing another country's farm work, and then we're not benefiting from the crops at all. And that's even if they farm the specific crops we were thinking, right? Afghanistan is not known for producing a lot of how we say, like, consumable products, right? It's not like they're doing a lot of corn. They're probably doing a lot of poppy and opium, right? Like, that's probably what they're doing. So theoretically or allegedly, we spent 300 million of taxpayer fund to fund the drug game in Afghanistan. If that's not waste, and if you aren't upset about that, like, you got to examine your priorities in life, right? Because for one, like, I don't know how that's defendable, right? I just don't understand how that's defendable. Anyways, we're going to continue here. We got 20 million for Alahan Sism, a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. I don't even know what to say. Like, why is that taxpayer funded? This is the issue, and I don't think, like, people who are really outraged at this, like, understand the issue. The issue is not that you guys can spend money on these, right? It's the issue that this is taxpayer money, right? So no wonder our federal budget and our deficit and the amount of debt we're in is in the trillions, because we're wasting money on ludicrous things. 4.5 million to combat disinformation in various countries. That's hilarious. That's hilarious, because it's like, what is disinformation? Well, it's what I say it is, right? So whatever I say is disinformation, that's what disinformation is. You know what I'm saying? It's nuts. That's nuts. Okay, what else? What else here? We have 7.9 to teach Sri Lanka journalists how to avoid binary gendered language. Yeah. How to avoid using male or female. How do we use he or she, right? That's just ludicrous. It's just nuts. That should not be taxpayer money, right? If you're a private group and this is your beliefs, you should be funding that, not the taxpayer. That's the issue that we're having here. 6 million to fund tourism in Egypt, intended to provide potable water. I think it's portable water, wastewater services and transportation. I can't read, apparently. Like, we're funding terrorism. No, sorry, excuse me. Tourism to different countries. Wouldn't we want to fund tourism to our country? Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. 5.5 million for gay rights initiatives in Uganda, and 17 million for unspecified projects in Vietnam. unspecified projects. See, and this is the thing, is like, there are some things that probably need to be paid for. I don't know about any on this list. I would say none on this list, right? But there are some things that the USAID, I'm sure, is doing good, right? So there's a nuanced approach to this, but there's probably a whole lot of waste that is happening, right? And we need transparency in the American government to its citizens, because that's who the government answers to. It does not answer to bureaucrats or elected officials, right? The elected officials actually answer to the people, right? And so this is why this story is nuts, because it's the tip of the iceberg. And I'm really curious to see what's going to happen as we start getting more and more access and more in to the different government programs. It's just nuts. And I don't know what to do with this information. I'm really excited that we're going line by line on it. Like, I feel like Ron Burgundy in Parks and Recreation, where he's like, slash it. That's what I actually want. I want a lean government. I want a government that is efficient, right? I want a government that when it does something, it does it, and then it doesn't try to keep doing it, right? It accomplishes the goals. I want a government that doesn't take all of my money, right? Or your money. Anyways, that's what my thoughts on this case. I'm really excited to see how this all plays out. What more they're going to discover. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure there's more. I'm sure there's only the tip of the iceberg, but we shall stay tuned. Yeah, so that's my political talk for the day. But I just thought that was a really big, because like this is scandal. This is proof that the government has been lying to its people. This is proof that they've been doing the things they said they weren't doing. And we finally have proof as an American people. And God bless America. Thank you, sir. Now we're going to shift over to some Raider talk. We had a full hiring of coaches. They filled out the staff. Patrick Graham is staying with the defense, which is exciting. And they bring in Chip Kelly for the offense. I'm actually really excited for where the direction of the Raiders are going. And I'm really excited what's going to happen in free agency and what's going to happen in the draft. I don't know. Things could be turning around in Raider Nation. And like, we could be competitive, and we could be competitors for that Lombardi that is going to be playing tomorrow for the Super Bowl. Oh, and for the Super Bowl, it's Eagles versus Chiefs. You know what I mean? But you know what? Who I want? I want the Eagles to win. Please let the Eagles win. I do not want to see another Mahomes victory lap or parade for the Chiefs. Like, they don't deserve it this season. Like, this whole thing of like there's an issue with the calls that happened in a very timely manner. You know what I mean? And the NFL really needs to do something about it. And if they don't, they're going to continue to lose viewership. You know what else I want from the NFL? And this is just me. I want it to be physical again. I want hard hits. I want them to let them play. I want to see some you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to see. But I'm really excited for the future of the Raiders. This is crazy to say as a Raider fan. I'm thankful Tom Brady is a part of our organization, right? Ever since that Tuck rule, I've hated that guy, right? But I'm actually really enjoying him being a part. And it seems like he cares and wants the Raiders to be great and to win. And that's good in my book. Pete Carroll, seems like that's what he's doing. He's been a winner whenever he's gone. And I'm looking forward to the fact when the Raiders are a bona fide winner again. Chip Kelly, let's install that offense. We don't know what he's going to do at quarterback, but I'm really excited and looking forward to seeing it. But thank you. I love you guys. I really enjoy talking and doing this podcast. So if you have time to listen, and even if you disagree with me, just let me know, right? I feel like I'm a very reasonable person. We can talk, we can debate. I can see your perspective, you can see mine, right? That's the type of person I am. If you have anything you'd like me to talk about or things, subscribe, have your friends subscribe. But this has been Mrradillo's World. Thank you, and have a great day or evening or morning.